Dan Ostroff with us tonight. Welcome, Dan. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm actually trying to track this on my phone as well. I'm not seeing us
Great.
live on YouTube.
Yes.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. I'll ignore my phone. It wasn't working for me. Cool.
Okay. Hey, Patty. Hey, Teresa. Hi, everyone watching. So for anyone who doesn't know, Christina and I had a meetup in Columbus this past weekend. And I have a friend, I've been friends with her since I was 2 years old. And she moved out to the Columbus area. So after the meetup, I went and visited her family. And I just got home. So I'm a little bit tired. We'll see how tonight goes. Christina says she's going to help me out. So we'll see. And plus, Dan's story is really interesting and exciting. So he'll be able to keep the show going too.
Yeah.
My brother's in the chat. Hey, Nathan. Laura's here. All kinds of people. Thank you guys all for being here.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to everyone who came out to the meetup. It was really nice. It was nice to meet BJ DeLong. You guys should all follow his channel if you don't already. He does a lot of really great tutorials. It was great to see everybody. Kelly, Kristen, everybody drove from quite a ways. So thank you for making the effort to do that.
Yeah, we had a great group.
Yeah. And Christina and I had a great meeting too. So we, I think, when did we decide we're going live? Thursday to tell everybody about it?
I think tomorrow. Well, I don't know, actually.
I think tomorrow's the mastermind group. And then Thursday we're going to go live in the main group and probably the YouTube channel too, just to talk about the year and some of the stuff that we discussed, some of the new things that are going to be happening this year. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, well, all right, Dan, let's get into your story. I first heard about you, I think, probably 2015 or 2016, right when I was hearing about merch. You were one of the first people that came out with Make Merch. And so I heard about you, I think, from Joe Clay, I want to say. So how did you get into this whole space?
Yeah, so Joe was actually one of the first guys who picked up on what we were doing with Make Merch at the time. So just like I met you at Ecom Chicago earlier this, about a month ago, 2 months ago, must have been 3 years ago. I'm a coordinator of a meetup group called Ecom Chicago. And I was approached by the guy Rich, who runs Ecom Chicago, the other Ecom Chicago, about their annual conference, and he invited me to join. So I went. I'm not ever, I've been involved in e-commerce for a long time. But not really the Amazon, eBay reseller side of things, more the high-end stores, the brand names, that kind of thing. And so it was fascinating for me to just meet up with a whole lot of people who are doing Amazon, it opened up a whole new world to me. And one of the talks there was Chris Green. And he was speaking about Merch by Amazon. Nobody in the room knew what Merch by Amazon was. And Chris said, he's been doing FBA for 10 years. Merch is going to be big. Merch is where FBA was 10 years ago. Get involved, learn it, do something, be involved. And he said there's an opportunity, there are a whole lot of opportunities. One of the opportunities he mentioned was to actually source quality graphics, put those together in packages, or split them out one way or another, and make them available to people. I run a software company called Dugma. Our business is software for e-commerce design. And basically, when I heard about that, I kind of said, well, that's something, we could do pretty easily. Met up with Chris after the show and basically put together a concept for what became Make Merch, which is just a really, really easy place to, for people like me, who don't know how to design. So this is where I'm jealous of Christina. With your, with your design abilities, I'm design challenged, and put together something where even I can create a T-shirt within a few minutes that looks good, um, without having to learn Photoshop, without having to learn all the detailed tools. Somewhere where I can find quality graphics. And so we launched Make Merch a few months later, and it's has been very successful. For me, it's kind of, or for our company, it's kind of a side business, which maybe hasn't been getting the attention that it should, just because life gets to you, and you're busy doing 100 other things at the same time. But as I said, it did open up the world of print on demand to me, probably like to all of us. And that world is just so vast, and there's so many opportunities out there, that I thought, that we're now expanding into new fields. One of the things I'd like to tell you about a little in soon is how to offer custom and personalization, customized and personalized items on Etsy, which is the next big project that we're working on. But let's start at the beginning and talk about personalization. Helen's made it clear to me that what you want to really do today is provide value to the viewers.
Yes, yeah. Let me stop you there. So I reconnected with Dan at Ecom Chicago. So that's where he was just saying that's how he found out about print on demand in general, from Chris Green being there. Chris Green was there again this past time. So that's where we sort of reconnected. And one of the things that I really feel is going to be even more important this coming year as it was last year. It already was important last year, but it's becoming even more important, is personalization and customization. And it's something that I said in the article that we were featured in Printify. And then when I was reading everyone else's responses, I'm like, oh, wow, everybody said, a lot of people said personalization. So I think I'm not the only one who thinks that this is going to be really important this year. So when we met Dan again at Ecom Chicago, that I was like, oh, I think I've heard of the Design It thing, or sometime around then I had heard somebody talk about that. And then you reminded me about how you've worked with big companies on personalization for them. So once we kind of put all the pieces together, I'm like, this is a perfect time to have you on, because personalization is going to be really, really important in 2020. And it's not something that I've necessarily focused on myself very much. I mean, of course, like everything on merch is personalized to an extent, but it's not something that the customer can necessarily request it to be personalized with their name or things like that. So anyway, thank you so much for agreeing to come on this show. And let's talk a little bit about, before we go into too much about personalization, let's talk a little bit about your company, Dugma, the one that you had before you Make Merch, and talk a little bit about your clients there. I know you have some big clients that you've been helping with personalization.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to start with a question for both of you.
Yeah.
Are you price sensitive when you buy?
Are you there? Oh, I don't. Christina, I think you're muted.
Yes, I was. Sorry. For me, it depends on the product. So some things I'm very price sensitive, and then for other things, I'm not. I don't know. It kind of depends on the brand, I think.
I was going to say, I feel like Christina's probably not price sensitive. But which is good. You're probably more about quality.
Yeah.
Things like that. I don't know. I've gone through different periods of my life. I feel like I wasn't price sensitive several years ago. And then I think getting into the FBA world and all of that, and learning how to source really inexpensively, I think now I'm price sensitive just because I have a better idea of how to get things cheaply.
Yeah.
So I've been both.
Okay, so that's really interesting, and the reason I ask that is because I do hear so much in the print-on-demand world, people coming from merch, are very worried about price. So if you sell on Amazon, one of the, you have to be a lower price than everybody else. If you're selling the same product, it's all about price. What are you competing on? But there's so much more to the way we buy things to how people perceive value. Now, I would say that in many modes, I'm value sensitive. And primarily, I think that when it comes to gifts, and a huge part of the personalization market is about being value sensitive. So, Helen, if you're going to buy a product, if you're going to buy a gift for someone, and that gift is a piece of jewelry, if that jewelry has Christina's name on it, my guess is that you're prepared to pay a lot more, because what you're buying is not the jewelry. You're buying Christina's reaction to the value that it brings to her.
Right.
And you're prepared to pay a lot more for that, probably.
You can't give away the secret that I got Christina the personalized jewelry. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So an interesting example from one of our clients just over the last month is Sour Patch Kids launched a really cool site, and I'm going to share my screen so that you can see it.
Perfect.
Let me just make sure I'm on the right window here.
Oh, and Teresa's in the comments. She's saying she's been using Make Merch since the beginning. That's awesome. Okay.
Okay, and just back to... Okay. Sour Patch Kids, look at this for a buying experience. And I really, I'm happy to talk about my favorite book list later on, but some of the books that have made a difference in the way I see the world talk about the experience economy. So a professor, Joe Pine, wrote a book about 20 years ago already called The Experience Economy. And he was talking there about people are no longer buying goods or buying just products. They're buying the experience. When you walk into a lot of the stores, it's about the experience. And we talk about the experience when buying online. So Sour Patch Kids, you come on, you choose your favorite flavors. So I'm going to choose a red berry and lemon as my two favorite flavors on the Sour Patch Kids. Then I get to choose my pack. So I'm going to go for a personalized pack here. Let's go for the 2 pound, and I'm going to hopefully spell Christina's name correctly. And there we got Christina's mix. Now, you might have noticed the price a moment ago when I chose this 2 pound box, but that sells for, let's go back there, for $24.99. So they launched this in December, hugely successful. The users pick out the flavors, they personalize it with the name, and at the end, you see the colors that we actually chose there, the red and yellow on the label there. And at the end of the day, what you get is a box like this. I'm holding it up to the camera. Hopefully you can still see it. Yeah. But so at the end of the process, once the user orders, the order goes through to Sour Patch Kids. A label is automatically printed that is put on top of the box. They fill the box with the exact candies that were chosen in the colors that were chosen, and they ship it to the customer. So a typical 2 pound box of Sour Patch Kids probably costs about $5. They can sell that now for $25 by offering personalization. So
that's amazing. Did you make this site for them, or did they already have this, or what's your connection with this?
So we were very involved in the creation of the website. We don't create websites, but we do create that customization experience. Okay. So everything you see around, writing the names in here, all the special effects that you're actually seeing there, that's unique.
Helen, we got to do merch money.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Yeah, so it's worth, to thank you for today's show. It's I don't look at this as sending you a $5 box of Sour Patch Kids, but rather of something that is has $25 of value to me, to send you that box. So um, those, tho- that is the opportunity in personalization. When everybody else is competing on price, we can compete on value, on perceived value. And when it comes to gifting, or even putting my favorite team's name on something, or or making something of myself, what we talk about in the customization and personalization world, I spoke about the experience, but there's also a certain bonding that happens once I start creating the design of something. And all of you who do merch, and once you start creating your own designs and you actually buy your own designs, you think, wow, these are really good. This product is now more valuable to me, and I've actually bonded. So during that experience, prior to hitting that add to cart, you start designing that, you're going to complete that shopping experience, because you actually start bonding with the product. And so the research shows, and that's based on some academic research that was done pretty recently, once a user starts designing their own product, by putting their own name on it, putting their own customization, they're 72% more likely to actually check out.
Wow.
That's so neat. It's really neat that it says like merch money's mix. So you're picking your own flavors and everything. I could definitely see it. Kind of reminds me of Build-A-Bear or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other examples, you asked for examples of companies that work with us, anything from baseball bats to team sports uniforms. Things get really complex. Um, but the real opportunity is, for people who are watching us right now, to think about how they can take regular products that are commodities, add personalization options to them, and sell them for a premium. And it's really not that hard to do. Do either of you have any experience with sublimation?
I know what it is, and I've talked to, let's see, Ugar about it. He has the company in the UK. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name. I told you guys I'm so tired. Just drove back. But no, I haven't done it myself.
Okay, so I was also exposed to it recently through one of our customers who does it extensively. Can you see the photograph on my screen?
Yeah.
So I took this just before the call today. This is a corner of our office here where we actually play around with sublimation. So all you really need for sublimation is a sublimation printer, sublimation paper, which you'll see down at the bottom there, and a heat press. So if you get a quality image, and from some of our design software, we automatically create that customized, personalized image that can be printed. You print it on a regular on a sublimation printer on special paper. You take that. I don't know if you can see the blank license plates that are just below the printer over here.
Right.
You basically take what comes out of the printer. You turn on the heat press. You put the heat press on top of that license plate, which is an aluminum plate. I have an example here, assuming you still see that. It basically starts off white. Once you put the printed paper on it, you put it under the heat press. 45 seconds later, you got something that looks really, really good, high quality, lots of colors, full color. So you could source empty license plates like this, probably for under $2. You can sell them customized for $20 to $30 on Etsy.
Wow.
And it's a little bit of work learning to use the printer. It's that investment you need to make, but the margins are much higher than you might make on print on demand. The hassle, of course, is a lot bigger, because you need to create it, package it, ship it. But once you get into the quantities, and if you have these cool designs, there's just so much you can offer now
That's so
in
cool.
terms of products.
Thank you, Laura. Laura said All Over Print. That was the company I was trying to think of that Ugar has. that does sublimation. And then Patty was asking what POD you work with. Your company doesn't really provide POD for people, right? It's more about like make merch, you can make designs on it and things like that, but you don't actually fulfill products, right?
Correct. We don't fulfill products for other people, but we do work with the print on demand people. So I'll go into Design Co and the whole new experience that's coming out soon. Design Co is what's in alpha, and there we've started working with a few POD companies. We're working with a company called DecoPlate, which is really cool. They do microwavable plastic plates that are really quality.
Oh, wow.
Which is print on demand on. We've done some testing with Shirtley. We've worked with Printix. We've worked with some of the others, and on Design Co, pretty much you can work with your own with any of the PODs. We're going to make the integration just that much easier with some of the PODs that I mentioned, and others. But we don't have we don't have an exclusive relationship with anybody.
Okay. And real quick, Teresa's saying she wanted mug heat press from Monty's Facebook group. That's awesome, Teresa. I saw that. I'm excited to see how that goes. And I think Kristen has a printer, right? Wasn't she saying that at the meetup?
Yeah.
I think she has one. I know there's quite a few people that have been experimenting with printing their own things. So we'll definitely would love to hear everybody's feedback about how that's going for them and learn more about that. So
yeah. So you asked about Dugma. Our classic business is software, helping clients, small and big, to sell products that can be customized and personalized, and we basically provide that experience for them. Just showing you a logo sign kind of viewer here. Let's just that just happens to be the one that I picked up. I'm just going to put a Diet Coke sign up there. To show how we can actually I don't know if you saw, but I took a color image, converted it to gray or to gold to do a custom logo sign. And if our friend Rich, who does signs like this, is watching, this is one of the things I wanted to show you at some stage.
I want one too. We need a merch money sign like that. It'd be awesome. I could put it right back here.
Yeah.
Right. So those are the kinds of things we do. Sports uniforms, you name it. Let's talk a little bit about make merch, and then let's talk about Design Co, which is the really exciting stuff that we're doing on Etsy. And I did promise to provide some unique value here to viewers, not only on tools and ways to work and some new things that are coming, but also we've organized some special pricing on make merch for viewers today. So I'm happy to share that with you. Should we dive into that, or any other questions on personalization? We can always come back to.
Yeah, go ahead. You could show make merch real quick.
Okay. So make merch, been around for a long time. Really easy place to create designs, even if you and where the art is 100% safe. You can use it without having to recheck it in terms of being valid to use on Merch by Amazon, use on other platforms. All the art is either public domain that we actually sourced and confirmed, or art that was specifically created by graphic designers or by graphic designers for us. What we're launching today, and actually your viewers are the first to see this, is a new entry-level pricing for make merch, and that is a $9.99 version, and that basically gives users access to make merch basic. and let's have some fun. Let's create a design or two on that, just to show you the platform. I know, Helen, you have played around with it a little bit, but I think there are a whole lot of features in here that we haven't done a good job of explaining and showing, so I'm just going to show them real quickly. So the new Make Merch Art has a section called My Design. So every design that you create is actually listed here in My Design. So you now have one central dashboard where all your designs appear. You've got a link both to the merch image, but also to the and each design that you create now becomes a template that you can use later on. So if you create a great looking design, it sells, you want to go back and make versions of that one, you can. We also continually offering a whole lot of inspiration. So our team creates all this inspiration. Which is seasonal. So if you want to create something in time for Christmas or Thanksgiving or Easter, you can come in, click on any of these designs, and use those as a starting point. For this case, I'm going to use one of my saved designs as a starting point, and I kind of like this love design. Just because it shows how easy it is for people without who have to fill slots, want great looking designs, and really want to take advantage of a whole lot of concepts around a single good looking design. So assuming that we actually start with this love design that I'm loading here, I can now go to, and that could be, that's the inspiration. I can now go to art, and I can say, instead of that art of the heart, let's put something that's more closer to my heart. And let's put in, so we search basketball. So that gives me a whole lot of basketball images. I can take a ready colored image there and just throw it in there, adjust the size, and I've got the love design with a completely new concept to it. I can go ahead, download that image, and save it. I can go ahead now and change that just to baseball. Well, actually, I was in Hawaii um, over the holidays, and I had a really good time, and we got to see dolphins live.
Oh, wow.
There is. I'm just, and you could edit those characters. This does have a distressed effect to it. So I'm just going to put that in there. And now I'm going to add my text. Let's add a second line of text here. And again, the concept around this is that it's really simple for users. Am I limited? Let's see. So I'm just going to put that in.
Somebody asked, is this available in the UK?
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's anywhere. Hey, Tim.
So there's my 2 lines of text. So I'm just going to put in a second line of text. Let's move it down a bit. And I've already got this font that, of course, our graphic designer chose for me in advance with this inspiration. But now I can just go ahead and put in Hawaii. And, and pretty quickly, I've created a great looking design. When I'm happy with my design,
Another eye.
Another eye in Hawaii. Thank you.
I think, right? Now I don't know. I'm so tired.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I know it didn't look right before. So
So when I'm happy with that, I can go ahead, click download, give it a title, Love Hawaii. Yes, it does have two eyes, of course.
I know. I was like,
Put in my key features and download that to my Google Drive. That's a great way to make sure that my art is all organized and easily available. I don't know if you noticed the distressed effect here, but we can have some. I can either remove that distressed effect or add it. And this is true distressed. This is not black pixels. This is transparent pixels. So if I now go back and choose a different color shirt, so a blue shirt might work for this, maybe not with that blue dolphin, but an orange, you'll see that this is not black pixels. Those are real transparent pixels there to give a real distressed effect. So that's the new Make Merch. Huge amount of art here. Whatever you're searching for, you'll find great looking art. More advanced features, like if I took just a silhouette of that dolphin, I can now add color to that. So let's add, we don't like to use gold or glitter colors too much on merch because it doesn't look good, but that's an example that might actually look pretty good. Just give it a totally different coloring, totally different patterns. And let's take a darker so it stands out there. So depending on your message, creative way to add. And for people looking for inspiration, you start with the inspiration and you search new art, you replace it, and you can really scale your images, scale your designs that way. So the special that we're offering today, if you go to makemerch.art/merch money, you can be one of the first to join Make Merch Basic, which is just the t-shirt designer, full access to all the art, but without all the features that you might find in Pro. The additional features that you'll find in Pro are things like hoodies designers, phone holders designers, or pop sockets, as well as the ability to upload your own images. Make Merch Pro, the full access, typically $29.99, and then if you go to the Merch Money link, you can get that at $19.99 a month. So that's a quick overview of Make Merch, the special that we're offering today. And if anybody has any questions on that, I'm happy to answer.
Patty asked if you can add fonts, graphics, if they can add their own fonts and graphics and images.
Unfortunately, add your own graphics. You certainly can. That's the image upload feature that's available in Pro. In terms of fonts, the available fonts that we have, we've got tens of different fonts that we've chosen for fonts that go well on t-shirts. So there's a huge variety of fonts here. These are all either fonts, again, that we've licensed specifically for POD. So we've got the full rights to these fonts, nothing to worry about. Or a lot of the popular Google fonts are here as well. So full variety of fonts there to choose from, and really cool preview option here of the font.
That's great.
Okay.
Any other questions on Make Merch?
Nope, that's it.
I do have a quick question. Is there a way to apply? I think it's usually called like a mask. I know you applied it to the dolphin image. Is there a way to apply it to the entire design?
Yeah. So essentially, the distressed effects are kind of a mask.
Okay.
We've been confusing users with them, so we actually removed it recently just because it does require more advanced user experience. So we'll probably bring it back in some of the more advanced designers.
Okay.
But it's basically just the exact same concept as distressed, but rather shaping it. We do that the other way around. So let me just so let's clear this a little bit. If I was to take some yeah, so what's the best way to show that? Yeah, so if I put, for example, if I want to focus things, you mentioned correctly that we have kind of a filter that goes on the art. So if now I choose, let's say I wanted to choose a shape of a heart, and let that be a full heart like that one. If we apply the filter on top of that heart, you effectively getting the same effect. So let's just look at the backgrounds there. So if I was wanting to do a heart effect on that sunset, for example, there you go, we've got it.
Okay.
So essentially you can do the same thing there.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Do you want to show design it now?
Okay, so we renamed it Design Co. I'm having difficulty getting used to the new name as well, but there is no easy way to sell customized and personalized items on Etsy where the end user gets to experience exactly how the product is going to look. And that is something that we've aimed to solve with our new platform that we call Design Co. So looking at my Etsy store that you see here, this is our Etsy demo store. It's called Custom and Cool. And we've got some products here. One of them being the sublimated license plate that I showed you, some T-shirts from Print on Demand, and some of those plates that I mentioned from a company called Deco Plate here in Chicago. So the user experience on these is that the user can now pick a design that they like, pick a product that they like. Let's go ahead and choose this personalized guitar design.
Sorry, real quick. I just double checked the link I put just in case it didn't show up anymore. The link I have is still design.it. Is that not right?
No, it's the correct one is design.co.co.
Okay, you gave design.it and it is going to it.
Right. But that's just currently a less advanced version. So I'll actually put a redirect in there to Design Co pretty soon.
Okay.
So the experience for the user is they now come, and nobody else is doing this in a friendly way to sell personalized products where the end user really sees the product. Etsy doesn't let us integrate yet with a link that is clickable in the page, so it does require the user to actually copy and paste this into their browser. But the concept here is I come in here, I see, there are these cool T-shirts with this guitar design. I want to put my own name in there. I want to see what it's going to look like before I buy it. So the buyer now goes and copies that URL and pastes it into their browser. Once they do that, they land on Design Co, where they'll be able to design their version of the product and hit checkout on Etsy and buy it from your Etsy store. So right now I'm demoing it with our demo store, which is Custom and Cool, but the user can now go ahead and write here, let's do merch money this time. And it's got all the fun abilities that we saw earlier. It's automatically putting the text in the right size. It's automatically resizing it. I might want to put it in caps myself. So just changing that to, and trying to spell correctly this time. And choosing my font. So these are the options that we opened up on this particular design for the end user. Once they have what they like, they hit checkout on Etsy and they buy it from your store. So if instead of Custom and Cool, which is our store, if this was your store, Helen and Christina, on Etsy, once the user designs the product, they hit checkout on Etsy, they'll actually be buying that product from you on your Etsy store. The checkout would be through your Etsy store. The design link here is actually has all the information that you as the seller need in order to provide this image to your print on demand to supply it. So when you go in as a seller, you'll actually be able to retrieve a print ready file that you can send straight to the print on demand with all the customization and personalization that you saw. I'll show you a few more advanced examples. So we've got things like where the end user
Patty's asking, what is the Etsy store name? Patty, it doesn't matter what the Etsy store name is. This is just something you add to your store, right?
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. But if you want to look at a reference, You can go ahead and do that. Just search Etsy for custom and cool, one word.
Oh, I see. Okay. So if you want to see this one that you're showing.
Right.
Okay.
So just to show another example of the kinds of personalization that are possible. So for this vanity license plate, user comes in and says, I want to design that myself. They copy and paste the URL. And in design code, they get that experience of where they can design. This time, instead of just one line of personalization, we've got 3 lines of personalization, and we actually have upload image as well. So the end user gets to upload an image. So I'm just going to upload my San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge there. And I can go in here as an end user, put in my text. So let's say that is, well, let's just do I love San Francisco. Or this could be again, the merch money. As a user, I can say, well, that black isn't standing out, so I'll put that in white. Maybe choose a stronger font that'll stand out more. And once I'm happy with the design, again, I can go ahead and check out on Etsy.
That's cool.
So any product basically that you can, you can create your own designs, decide what you want to be customizable in those designs, what you want the end user to be able to customize, and you can now sell true custom and personalized items on Etsy. Design Co, which is our site, is in early alpha. So really, we're not yet opening it up to sellers who want to sell everything. But we are in alpha. We are inviting people to join the alpha program. And we actually have the first sellers live who started making sales, I think it was last week. So from there, we'll move to beta and then open it up to the market. Is the use case, the business case, clear?
Yeah, I think so. And does this only work with Etsy right now?
Correct.
Okay.
Design Co is 100% focused on Etsy, and that is the way that we're actually able to do this while not breaching any of Etsy's rules. And in fact, they really like it because we're not sending the user away from Etsy to buy somewhere else. The user is coming back to complete the checkout on Etsy.
Okay, that's great. And if someone was interested in being in the alpha program, is that open up to anyone?
Best to reach out to me.
Okay.
You can go to design.co, hit become a seller, and register there. And I think there's a registration form, and then you'll be invited to join the alpha program. And if not the alpha, you'll be invited to join the beta.
Okay, great. And is there a monthly cost right now for this?
No. So at the moment, because we're still in alpha and beta, people are joining at the moment and people are getting on board. We just want people to get experience on it. And there I see that it still says Design It, which is totally wrong. It should be Design Co. Yeah, so at the moment, there's no charge. When we do launch it, eventually, somewhere during the beta, we will start charging. We call these studios, but they will be priced in such a way that they bring a lot of value to people who use them, and they're affordable.
Okay, great.
Teresa's asking a good question about how do you handle a situation when a customer uploads an image that they don't have the rights to? For example, Mickey Mouse.
You have to decide that. Anybody who sells, anything that's customized and personalized on platforms like Etsy, you need to put that in your Etsy page that you want about it. And then you have to think about, where it falls into fair use and where it doesn't fall into fair use. So we stay out of that. It's up to you to make sure that you're complying with the laws on Etsy. It's not going automatically to the customer at the end of the day, so you can stop it and refund the user if you want to, or if for any reason your print on demand wouldn't agree to print it.
Perfect.
Okay.
And so I know that you guys aren't providing the products. How and maybe this would be more apparent once I start using it, or things like that. What company are the products coming from, or would they be coming from for this particular Etsy store? What's the pod partner?
So you can use any pod partner. There's some that make the integration of sending them the image easier than others. So I really like the way Shirtly does their Etsy integration.
Okay.
So Shirtly actually pulls the orders directly from Etsy.
Okay.
And will wait for you to upload the image. So you as the seller are able to log into our system and retrieve the order, retrieve the print ready file to send to Shirtly. So right now, when an order comes in, Shirtly will draw that order. You'll see that order in the admin section on Shirtly. And then you can upload the image that you retrieve from Design Co. You can upload that to Shirtly. We're looking at doing some integration with some of the aggregators and some of the print-on-demand platforms. That process will be fully automatic. So when an order comes into your Etsy store, it'll go straight through with the print-ready image to the print-on-demand manufacturer. We're not there yet. I believe that we'll get there within a month or two. Probably the first guys to do that will be those plates that I showed you earlier. So,
okay,
these cool plates.
Fantastic. So, what made you want to start designing this? Do you think that personalization's really, were you getting a lot of requests for it?
So we do work with a lot of Etsy sellers who now have their own stores and are frustrated by having to create new artwork every time an order comes in.
Yeah.
So that's a huge part of it. The other part of it is Etsy sellers who just keep saying to us, I wish I had this facility for my Etsy customers. And because we work with so many different partners in the industry, this just seemed like something that's going to do really, really well. We're really excited about it. And let's see.
Perfect. Well, I think it's very good timing. Definitely. I think there's going to be a lot of people that will appreciate having that, because the customer can see a preview of it. Because I think that was somebody's question. Can the customer actually see what it'll look like? Yes, they can see what it'll look like. So if they're, it'll save time from them messaging you, and then you have to make it, and then you have to show it to them. Like, this will make it much smoother process.
Exactly. It takes out that whole step of creating mock-ups specifically for each customer, and then creating the artwork when the order comes in, and choosing fonts, all of that, really giving the user the control.
Awesome. And will you connect with Shopify or any other stores, or you think just Etsy?
So our classic business is to work with Shopify, BigCommerce, with vendors who have their own stores, but that's a totally different model. And that's Stigma's classic business, pretty much.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think I'm glad that you made this, and it'll be interesting to have everybody try it out. Any questions, Christina, or anybody else in the chat?
it looks amazing. I'm definitely gonna sign up to try to be an alpha tester. So it just I didn't realize there was anything out there like this. Do you know if there's any other tools like this, or are you guys kind of the first to market with this?
We're the first to market with this. There's Tangent templates and Cordial. You probably know those for doing it for digital files.
Yeah.
And they've got a different experience. We're the first people to actually offer true interactive visualization for Etsy sellers.
That's great.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you showing it to all of us, and we'll be excited to give you feedback and try it out.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm glad that Christina is going to be one of our alpha testers. And yeah, so thank you so much for having me on the show. We covered a lot. Anybody has any questions, they can put them, in the chats, or reach out to me directly. And happy to see what 2020 brings us, and good luck to everybody. I've also been to a few of the meetups. I hope to attend some of your meetups in the near future. And it's just so nice to meet people face to face, to get to see what everybody's doing, and kind of to help each other succeed. I think that's what I really like about what we've done so far in merch and working with the smaller businesses.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. And this is going to be a great year. We're excited.
Exactly. And just a reminder for everyone, the links are in the description on the YouTube page, so that you can take advantage of that great discount that Dan's offering the Merch Money community.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.